everyone. Welcome to Chintan Manan. So, we are here again for another episode, which is the second episode. And today we have a very interesting topic, which is connecting to the inner child. And for that, we have a very respected and renowned clinical hypnotherapist, Dr. Sunil Prakash. Thank you, sir, for coming here.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Sunil Prakash is a management professional, MBA from FMS Delhi University. He has seen the corporate world and is now a successful business tycoon running his own export company. Now he got interested in hypnotherapy when he did not get any answers from psychotherapy while he was dealing with his own issues. And he's also a trainer and an author of 4 books. His experience goes back since 2008, and he has been presenting paper at various international forum, and soon he will also be presenting paper in USA. Am I right, sir?
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your precious time. Okay. So, recently we have heard so much about inner child healing, inner child. A lot of people are hearing this word, but people are not sure what exactly is inner child. So, based on your experience, what would you like to tell to the audience?
Basically, inner child is nothing but something that takes place with everybody when he was in childhood. And during that childhood, a lot of activities do take place. And as we grow old, those things get buried down. And we tend to forget because this is our defense mechanism that stops us from remembering all those events. Otherwise, the life will become very difficult to live. So, due to this, what happened that my subconscious mind is giving a push of which I am not aware of.
Okay.
So, we just try to find out what happened in the childhood. That is giving me a certain push in the current adulthood. And I do not know why I am not feeling good or certain things are repeated. These are the things, that is which relate to the inner childhood.
Okay. So, most of our issues are related to inner child wounds, I would say.
Yeah, issues. Everybody, during the childhood, due to what sort of parenting he got, what sort of relationship he had, what were his family system in which he lived. They create an impact, and this impact is both emotional and mental impact, and even physical impact, which he tries to forget. And this physical impact or the mental impact is impacting the person in the current life. So we need to explore and find out what happened in the childhood. And once the person comes to know that yes, he has gone through this, due to which he tries to bring, we as therapists tries to bring about a change in that event. And when we bring that change in the event, things do change automatically.
Okay. So, how can we know that our inner child is wounded? Like, does everyone inner child is wounded? Like, what can you give an example so that we can understand?
Okay, example is very simple. In the childhood, when I was, say, around 3 years old or 4 years old, my mother was busy somewhere in some work, and I had to spend my time, so I took a paper and pencil and started drawing something. Because at that time, you become very creative. And whatever you create, you have that enthusiasm that you have done something new. And when you take that in enthusiasm, when you take that to your mother and say, Mother, see what I have created, but the mother is busy somewhere else. What should he do? She snubs the child.
Okay.
She's not into that mental state where she can accept the creativity of the child. And then she makes a comment to the child, oh, you are a useless guy. You will never be able to be successful in your life. That one single statement has a very big damaging effect on the child.
Okay.
That thing is being forgotten as a child because he was just 3, 4 years old. He doesn't remember it. But his subconscious mind has already registered that comment. And that comment that was registered at that age, gives a big bang when he is an adulthood. He has already crossed his college. He has been gold medalist in the college. But then somewhere internally he feels that he will not be successful in life. And that's what happens. He doesn't know the reason why he has been the best educated person, best illiterate, knowledgeable, everything is there. But somewhere at the background, he doesn't feel confidence. He lacks confidence. From where is this coming? Why does he lack confidence when he has been so bright a student? And he has, excelled in all the fields. It is this small comment that mother gave him, which was reported by or accepted by the subconscious mind. And
Okay.
subconscious mind at this stage gives the push. And that is what is becoming a sense of inconfidence, in the child, in the adulthood, that I cannot do anything. I'm a worthless person. I won't be successful in my life.
This is
And
so
that does
deep-rooted.
not allow him to progress.
Okay. So
So
what?
this is
Yeah.
what we try to find out, through our hypnotherapy sessions, that we go deep into it. And when we go deep into it, then we try to find out what was the relationship during your childhood. Did he used to trouble your mother, or was she in a lot of state of stress during that period due to which she was not able to give attention to you? Do you remember any such thing where the mother has commented you? And the moment we start doing a cognitive session, he remembers everything. Yes, I remember that this is what happened in my childhood. And my mother made a comment once. So then we have to heal that comment. We have to remove that comment. And once we remove that comment, then in the current scenario, his feeling of incompetency goes away. We empower him that, yes, I will do it and I have done it. So that's how we bring about, and that is the reason why we say that inner child is very important, because as per the example I have given you and quoted, this happened in the childhood, not in the adulthood.
This is so deep.
It's very deep rooted.
And our inner child is very sensitive to all the comments.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. At that time, the childhood, the children are susceptible to pick up all the things that are going around because he doesn't know the world. He accepts what he sees around in the environment, in the surroundings, with the relatives, what's happening in the family. Family system plays a very big role here, because if you are coming from a dysfunctional family system is very, very big factor to bring about the inner child problems. In a functional family system, everything is going very smoothly, very functionally. Nothing goes wrong. He tries to pick up very good things to be used in life. Belief systems and lot of what things are happening around. But then in dysfunctional family system, things are not good. Parents are not talking, or there is always a fight among themselves. Even the families are not talking to each other. They are in the show business. And so, a lot of they may be into drinking and smoking, and all these habits are there. So, due to these, they impact the child very much. Either the child will become the way the family is, because the child is nascent. The child does not have any experience. The mind of the child does not have any experience. So, being total nascent, either the child will pick up what parents are doing, so he will become the same. Or the child may say, no, 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 I'm not happy with what my parents are doing. I just want to be different. So that's where the conflict starts. Parents are into certain habits. The child mind says, no, I'm not going to accept that habits. Then he tries to run away from the house. He doesn't feel confident and comfortable in the house. So when he doesn't feel comfortable in the house, what will he do? He'll try to disconnect from the house.
Okay.
Right. So these are various factors, they all start from the childhood. Reason being is very simple, that when you go to a new place which you have not explored, what do? You have no idea what is happening around there.
Yeah.
So whatever you see, you try to pick up that is the right thing. But internally, according to your choices, may not be the right. So you get confused. That is what is happening in the childhood. There is no experience with the mind. There is no experience with the subconscious area. So he tries to pick up and then decide. And what happened? The circumstances in the childhood and the circumstances when a person grows old as an adult, they may change. And the moment the circumstances change, his subconscious mind gets confused. This is what I learned when I was a small child. This is the environment I'm finding as an adult. What do we do now?
Okay.
So the mind becomes totally confused and is not able to decide what to do. So, what happens into the childhood at the time of childhood is very, very important, and we really need to work on that.
So childhood memories are very important.
Very, very important, because that is the time when the mind is totally empty, vacant, whatever word you want to use. And whatever he tries to pick up, he does that.
Okay.
So that's very important. That is the reason why inner child study is very, very important, to understand from where the child is coming, what happened in the childhood, and then what the adulthood needs right now.
So, sir, can it also happen, like just you said, that sometimes we can also behave like our parents? So, mostly we were not aware. So, some like suppose our parents are unhealed, so we will also carry the unhealed version, and we are also going to behave the same with our kids. Like, does it goes like that?
So, yes, it is very important, that now, since all these things are open and people start knowing it through the therapy, and we have started, exploring too much deep into it, and we know, yes. So, that is the reason why today the parent has to be very, very, knowledgeable that how to handle a child.
Yes, as a
And
parent, we like
again,
to have to be mindful.
that is what is happening. Parents don't have time. They're
Exactly.
running for the money because they have to provide proper education to the child, proper food, proper living have living environment. They're every both the parents are running, and secondly, the families have become nuclear. Previously, the grandparents, they used to be a joint family system, you know. So in joint family system, somebody will look after the children, somebody will look after the food, somebody will look after something, and somebody will look after the finances. So all the work was divided. So looking after the children were much more easier at that time. And they were looked after and given the proper education, the belief systems, the good value systems. Today, who will give the value system? Because the parents themselves are into a lot of stress. They do not know what is to be done. Right. So either the people who can afford a maid or a child care nurse, then the child will pick up the value system of the child care nurse, and they come from a different system totally.
Okay.
Right. See,
Right.
my value system as a parent are different. But then when I have employed somebody to look after my child, the child will pick up the value system because the maid is going to give her value system. That is her learning. That is her education. That is limited only to that extent.
Yes, child pickups everything, like good or bad. Everything they pick up.
Yes, they pick up everything because they are into that habit of everything is new for them. Number one. And number two, at that age of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they want to be self dependent. Now, when they want to be self dependent, who is going to give them the education that this is what you should do? That is the education that counts at that time,
Okay.
that what you should do and how you should do it. See, what happens in our daily system or in a normal life at that age of 3 years or 4 years, when the child is exploring because everything is new for the child tries to put his finger into the electrical plug. How do you respond?
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Now, the moment you say don't touch it, that means you are telling the child not to do it directly. The child becomes anxious.
Yeah, they
Why
would
I
like to
am
do
being
it.
asked not to do it?
Exactly.
Will try to do it more, that anxiety that develops, makes the child do it more.
Okay.
So
Right.
same is the reason that the child becomes rebellious even at that time.
Agree.
Child says, I have put the child into a very good school. There, the children are coming from affluent families. They are going outside for a picnic or just to meet and have meetings, get-togethers. My child wants to be with them, and I say, no, I can't afford it. I am not going to allow you late nights. Then again, the anxiety and stress develops in the child.
Okay. From the
When others
childhood
are going,
itself.
why am I being asked not to do it?
Right. Okay.
Parents are also right at their level because the way the environment is changing. But then there is a way of saying things. If the parents say, okay, you go, we have no problem. But see, these things are happening like this in the environment. And this is where the caution has to be explored and followed. Now, if anything happens, you will be responsible. Don't hold responsible to us. Right. So that means I have brought down the anxiety. Tomorrow, if anything happens, the child will put himself or herself responsible for what has happened and not the parents. So, how I put my words to the child are very, very important at that time. So, the same thing, don't do it. Say, okay, no problem, put your finger inside. When you will get hurt, then don't come to me. Because the moment you put finger, it hurts you. Now choice is yours.
Oh, wonderful.
So the anxiety of that is being developed when I say don't do it will not be there.
The child has got the
Anxiety,
choice now. He will
yeah,
decide.
yes.
Nice.
So that is the reason why we need to study the inner child activities that have taken place at that time,
Okay.
which we have to explore.
One more thing, sir. Can inner child wounds be manifested as a disease, something like physically manifesting itself?
Physical manifestation is already there, that how do I behave, as a small child with my siblings, with my cousins, how am I behaving, that
Generally, yeah, I have seen men, they don't express themselves a lot. So generally they have more high BP and heart issues. Can that be related to inner child wound also, or that can be some other reasons?
no, not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, these things may be due to medical reasons. These things again may be due to the environment and the circumstances he is in, So high BP or feeling very much stressed out, these may be the current issues. Maybe he doesn't want to study, and the parents are forcing him to study. He is interested in sports or
Okay.
other vocational thing, and I don't allow. And when I don't allow, and if he doesn't study, I start shouting at him as an adult even.
Right.
So then naturally his BP and his heartbeat and sweating and everything will increase. Because the moment he is not going to study, he is going to play, he knows my dad or my mom is going to come and start shouting.
Okay.
So that may be at the later state or even in the childhood state also.
Right.
But again, it is a gender dominated society.
Men are told not to express their feelings. As a child, the boys are told not to be expressive, do not cry. So,
No, no,
child in them is like,
I don't think so. Nobody tells to the boys that you're not supposed to cry, but they feel that since we are macho, we are the savior of the family, so we must hide all this. If we are going to be very emotional, then
Mhm.
what is going to be the impact on the other people?
Right.
Since we are looking after the family, we are responsible for the family to take care of the family, then we are not supposed to be explore or exhibit our emotions. That is the reason why generally males do not see them expressing their emotions in terms of crying or feeling sad. Internally, they may be broken down.
Right.
Internally, they may be very shallow, but externally, they don't show.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
That is the difference.
Okay. So another thing we have explored today.
Yes.
So, sir, coming back to inner child, what are its basic need, which we can look after? Like, what does it really want? Like, if I talk about my inner child, so, like, what does it want? Like, what are the basic need of that child, which we should have focused on?
See, again, depends from the age to age, at the age of 3 to 4 years, the child, up to 2 years, the child is looking for the basic needs because he cannot do anything himself or herself. So he has to be taken care of, for the food, for the nappies, for the cleanliness and everything. The somebody has to look after the child. Then from the 3 to 5, the child is looking, should be given a chance to do things himself. The moment his hands he starts walking and every hands are active, he starts trying to hold things, pick up things, explore things. He should be given a chance.
Okay.
He should be allowed. But then care should be taken that he shouldn't fall down and he shouldn't get hurt. And only that much care should be taken. After 5 years, then he starts going to the play school.
Right.
So when he starts going to the play school, he should be given free hand to mix with the children, other children. He. Has to be taught. So your wordings, how do you explain it is very, very important.
Okay.
Certain families, no, no, don't do this, don't do this. That is very bad. If the child is even doing something wrong, explain to the child.
So instead of saying no, explain it.
Explain it. That's what we do fail today in our even society. And that's where, the at the age of when he starts mixing, going to the school, he mixes with the other children, both males and females. There he has to be educated. What is the difference between the other person who does not belong to your same sex? How you have to look towards them. That education has to be given, which we are not doing it today, even up till now. We feel that it is taboo, that should be kept hidden. And that is the reason why at that age the child involves into certain activities. Because he is in exploration mode.
Yeah, totally agree.
My body is like this, why the body is different of the other person? So he will try to explore. And when he'll try to explore, then there is a possibility that at that time they go into certain playful activities.
Right.
But then, when they become old, when they become adult, then they realize that we have done a guilt. We did this thing, or my cousin did so with me, and that was wrong. So he lives in a guilt environment. Again, that is again a big reason that at the inner child we need to explore that what is the guilt today, which is eating away and not allowing me to live happily and very openly with my other fellow peer group members. At times, suppose, for example, in the childhood, some physical abuse took place. Here, I'm in physical abuse, I'm talking about the sexual abuse
Okay.
with the cousins because they are the most nearest persons where nobody will doubt, right? So the cousin said, no, don't tell anybody. With the fear, I don't tell anybody. But I was also enjoying it at that time. When I grow old and as adult, and when I knew that what sex is, I start developing an aversion towards that person. And a guilt develops inside me. Then I may, at that time, oh, all the males are bad.
Yeah.
I want to be away. Because if I go somewhere where the males are there, they will try to do the same thing to me again. I develop a fear. From where is the fear coming? From my childhood, when I was abused. But at that time, I didn't knew we were doing in a playful mode. But my subconscious mind did not accept it. What was happening? this is a very big cause of OCD.
So abuse and in fact guilt. My God, the person might
Guilt.
be so
Yes.
much of trauma then.
Yes. Because at that time when that sexual abuse was performed, I felt very dirty. At that time, I didn't knew what is happening. But as I grow old as an adult, and the moment I came to know that this is very bad and this is dirty, I start cleaning and I develop a habit that everything appears to be dirty to me. And every 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, I want to clean myself.
Okay.
That is what OCD is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So lot of girls, get this OCD,
Yeah.
and the psychologists do not know how to handle it.
It's coming from the inner child trauma and the sexual abuse which happened in the childhood. And
Yes.
nobody has explored that part because we
That they
don't even
don't
know. So we are working on the surface level.
surface level.
So even if for some time the symptoms can go, but it will come back, or it would come back in some other way, or maybe worse.
Similarly, how the narcissists are formed. In my childhood, I always got a lot of beating and scolding. I accepted that. I said, okay, when I'm going to grow as an adult, I'm also going to behave in the same manner with my partner.
Okay.
Because my parents were doing it and they were doing it to me also. I was bearing all the brunt of their hitting abuse they gave me. I said, okay, fine, I am a child right now. I can't do anything. But when I am going to grow old, I will take my revenge with my partner because this is the right thing. So I become narcissist. So narcissism again is coming from my childhood. So these are some very, very bold, activities that are taking place.
Actually, yeah.
And I don't realize why they are there and what is the reason behind it.
So here in these cases, we need to explore the subconscious mind.
We have to explore the subconscious mind through a cognitive session. And once that is done, then we take the client into a trance session. And once we find out the root cause, then we try to re-script that root cause.
So
Tell
the
to the subconscious.
subconscious mind is playing a very important role, like it is storing everything.
Oh, yes, yes. Subconscious mind is the biggest storehouse.
So it stores both the positive and the negative things.
The subconscious mind does not understand whether the thing is positive or negative. It is just an information. It is my conscious mind which is deciding what is good and what is bad.
Okay.
Right? So basically, subconscious mind since does not differentiate between the good and the bad. So any piece of information is just an information.
Okay. Very informative, sir.
Yeah.
So, how can we connect to this inner child, and how will we know that we have some trauma, or we have some wounds within us?
See, what will happen, whosoever will come to you definitely will have an issue. Something is bothering. And when something is bothering, then we try to do a cognitive session. So, in cognitive, what is important for us is to study in depth the childhood. What an environment the child has, who were the parents, who were the grandparents, who were the siblings, what they used to do in summer holidays. Was there some relative in the family who had been, taking advantage of the children? So this is the area that we need to really study. And when the client comes, he automatically goes into a hypnotic state.
Okay.
And his subconscious mind starts popping up the information. And the client remembers such information, which after the session he says, oh, I never thought, this happened with me. From where did it started and how did it come up? I'm so surprised because his subconscious mind starts speaking at that time. So this is how we try to find out about the childhood, that what happened in the childhood. And then from there, we try to pick up the loose threads and start connecting them. So childhood is very, very important to be studied. But this is not all, Kavita. What happens that even at the womb stage, lot of emotions of the parents and the mother are being passed on to the child in the womb.
Okay.
You must have heard that story of Mahabharata of Abhimanyu and Arjun.
Yeah.
So see, it is a very lively example that how the messages are being transferred to the child in the womb even.
Yeah, he heard, I think, about the seven chakra views. He didn't heard the last one.
At that time, that lady went off to sleep. So the message could not go how to come out of the Kshatriya. And that is the reason why, Abhimanyu was a good warrior, went into the Chakravyuh, entered, but then he didn't knew how to come out of it. And he was killed. So, childhood is very, very important to be explored.
Childhood, and even now you're saying about the womb also. So mother's womb, like how mother is thinking, that is also very important for a child.
Yes, that is the reason why most of our grannies say you should be happy, eat well, have a good environment around you in your room, have some good photograph. Happy,
Yeah.
it should be set up there because if your mood is happy, if your emotions are happy, if your mental thoughts are happy, they are being conveyed to the child. So that is very, very important. So inner child is very important.
So even the happy memories, we can connect with the inner child, because people are nowadays not very happy. So is there any way, to connect with the inner child or any activity which we can do?
Yeah. So having an happy environment is very important, at least up to the age of 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
Because by the age of 12 years, you have already developed certain experiences. So when you have a positive experiences, you're going to use them after 12. Why I'm saying 12? Because 12 to 14 is your maturity age,
Okay.
both for boys and girls. So at the time of maturity, your body demands are changed. You start understanding the difference between a male and a female. Right. So before that, the period is very crucial. And you need to be handled. That is the reason why, in the olden days, the family system or the grannies used to say that at least have two children, a male and a female, so that they gel together, they understand much better But today, everybody says, okay, let me have one child and let me look after one child. That is very important because I can't afford it. And that child remains a lonely child because he doesn't have any brother or sister to play with, to understand what is the bonding of a male and a female. So that bonding is very, very important. And the bonding you get with your own blood relatives, siblings, you don't get outside with your friends.
Very true, sir.
So inner child needs to be studied very thoroughly. And people don't understand. They take it, बच्चे हैं ऐसे ही पल जाएंगे.
Yeah, right. That's true.
पहले environment अलग था, surroundings, requirements were totally different, But today, our requirements have evolved a lot. And they are evolving much faster, further. But the parents are not changing. They remain with their old systems. And that's where, a dispute or a conflict arises between today's children and the children which were coming from the old previous days.
Okay. So parenting tips are also important in this case, and as a
Parenting
parent, we
plays a
too
very
need to
important.
learn.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Parenting plays a very important role. And today, why? Parenting is important because I'm not bonding with the child. I don't have time to sit and ask the child what his problems are. Tell me how many parents have that time and how many parents have asked the child, what are your problems? We just try to put our, rules and regulations on them, force on them, instead of asking them, what do they need? How much time do parents give to the children today? And that is the reason why the children are getting addicted. Because who do they talk to? Now they are talking to the machines only.
Absolutely true, sir.
That's what's sad.
Bonding between parents and child is very important for a
Very,
healthy inner child
very, very important in a child.
and for a healthy growth of a child as well.
Yeah.
So when a child could be happy if we as a parent also, can build a positive bond and emotional strong bond with our child.
Yeah, you have to understand their needs also. No? When you were the child, your needs were different, but today the child has a different needs.
We can't measure
Understand,
our time and their time.
understand them. Don't try to force upon what you have seen as a child.
The control needs to go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. This was such an informative session.
My pleasure. So I'm always there for my students and, such progressive students, are the people, who are just doing so much for the society. It's for us to give something to the society also.
Very true, sir. And
Yeah.
this was a very important topic, like knowing the inner child, connecting with the inner child, what can be the issues related to the inner child. It's very important, and people are facing a lot of issues because of the inner child wounds. So I'm sure people will get some information, and it might be helpful to some of them. So thank you so much, sir.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
joining in the session.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.